Good evening, good evening, good evening. Shed Wizard welcomes you. It is the 22nd of January, 2026. The world is controlled by pedophile elites. Yet again, another day in paradise. We are not getting any better. We are not getting up for the gym. We barely made any progress waking up on time as it is, let alone trying to actually accomplish any physical activities in the morning. So, as you can tell, even after work of being awake all day, speaking sounds like shit. This is not good podcasting. This is bad stuff. But I wanted to get a routine. I want to get it going. I have plans every Friday night, so I haven't decided if I will be podcasting Friday nights. We'll see how we feel when we get back from the bar, but we're not drinking heavy, so might be a night where you can hop on and do a short little 20-minute or something like that. But we're going to try to get these up to about an hour apiece. 4 of them, and then maybe a small cast on a Friday. But we got to get a good routine down. That's why I figured I'd press through being sick on the start of it, because no way to build a habit without just doing it. But if I take it easy, rest up Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, hit it Monday after work, I think I will have better energy. I think my voice will be back to normal by then. We are just doing whiskey in the meantime because it's really the only thing that helps soothe the throat. That is family friendly anyway. You know what I mean? Oh boy. That's a good whiskey. I could fall asleep right now. We're doing casting though. We're doing a bad cast. I've got a bad cast to send out, okay? We got to focus up. There's shitty podcasting to do. By golly, if I'm going to leave that to Brian Schaub and it's Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen, I want a piece of that action. This is why we're pressing through. I wanted to look into the news because my brain is frazzled and I have no idea what's going on in the world. And I was looking through the news, and most of it, the headlines aren't real. That's if someone walked up to you and spoke to you and told you a story that the biggest newspapers and news companies in the world are putting out as headlines, if someone told you one of those stories, you would hit them. You could be your best friend. You would hit them and you go, that's not a story. That's not anything. Why would you ever tell me that? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. Do better. You tell them to fix yourself. Fucking fix yourself, loser. That's not a real story. It's like, you don't hit them, but you know when kids come up to you and they start rambling? I was about to do the, I'm so unoriginal right now. It's just about to do that. And then when you, and have you ever, and then when you, little kid talking about dreams. But they do, they sit there and they stutter. They love to stutter. But then sometimes they'll just get higher pitched and it's like a stutter. And they'll just say the same word over and over and over again. And then when we went and we went and we went and we went. And you're just like, well, you can't hit those ones. But that's the essentially what these headlines are. And then another thing happened. Oh, did you see this? Over here, these other people had an altercation. And it's like, dude, I don't give a shit about personal conflicts 700, 900, or 3,000 miles away from me. People have conflicts every day. People in my town have conflicts with each other. It doesn't make the headline news. Oh, and then the headlines. They're reporting on internet beef. This isn't new. You know this is happening. Think about how stupid this is. A podcaster, a TV show host, a journalist will say something Oh no, don't you hate it when they do that? I do. They're retarded. But then another person in one of those professions will hear about what they've said, and then they go, I don't like that. Oh boy, now we have supporter wars, so the people that like them, now we're getting involved. And then the whoever it was that initially said something, had an opinion, now they're going to, especially if this person has views, they're going to go back at that person and go, hey, person who critiqued my original opinion, I don't like that critique. Oh, and I don't like you either. Here's what I've dug up on you. Now we have a little war going on. That's fine. Like I just said, people in my town have personal conflicts with each other. That's all good. The problem is people now will write news stories about this, and they'll put it in front of your face, and they go, hey, did you know that these people and these people have a personal conflict? I don't give a shit. I don't know either of those people. And you're telling me that this is a national news story, not something that is going to affect my immediate surroundings. The nation must be made aware that these two people are having an internet conflict. How do you not eat a bullet after that? The world is toast. We're already being run by pedophile elites, and now internet people are having personal conflicts, and the nation must be made aware of this. You know how the government's being run by the pedophile elites will put out statements and tell you things that are happening in their governments. And I don't mean that every government is the pedophile elites. I wouldn't give them that much credit. I think the pedophile elites are running these governments. Now, there's going to be some pedophile elites in the governments, obviously. But I don't think that the governments are in themselves self-governing, which is sad. Excuse me, my darlings. Did I hurt your ears? Oh, no. Anyway, so I saw this news report that was put out by the White House, and they have they created this a while ago, but they finally just put a whole panel together, a board, if you will. But they declared this Gaza Board of Peace. And you sit there and you go, the pedophile elites will put these things into motion. They will put these action plans together. And the way that they bill them, you can find out what's going on by just taking the opposite of whatever they declare it to be. It's so easy because they can't just kind of a little bit manipulate. They just lie straight up 180 degrees. So you already know it's not going to be a board of peace. First of all, it's not going to be a board. There's going to be one person in charge. Obviously, it's one of the pedophile elites. And then secondly, the second part of that is board of peace. It's not going to be peaceful. And then you see who they put on this, right? First of all, a bunch of second world countries, I'd call these. There's some third worlders on there. A bunch of the leaders of second and third world countries. Excuse me. Hide your ears, my darlings. Jesus, fuck, I'm gonna stop calling you guys darlings. Second and third world country leaders signed the original Board of Peace. But then so that's not going to work because how often are you going to get all of these people together to make decisions, right? So then they appointed an executive board to run the Board of Peace. So what does the Board of Peace do? Nothing. That's not true. Board of Peace. They made a smaller board called the Executive Board. Who's on that? Marco Rubio. He's going to do what Trump tells him. He's the U.S. Secretary of State. Great. That's fine. But I don't care if that's what's happening. I'm looking at what they're telling me that's going to happen, which is a Board of Peace. And I'm going, well, you guys answer to people that are not yourself. So clearly the executive board is not going to work out. Steve Witkoff. U.S. Special Envoy to the Middle East. I wonder whose bidding he's going to do. Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law. Also, other ties to other countries and maybe allegiances. We're not going to mention them, though. Sir Tony Blair, former UK Prime Minister. Tony Blair. I don't even know if he has allegiances. I think he's a money boy. He's a Bill Clinton. He's just gonna, hey, I don't know. I've never heard him speak, but I've heard Clinton do that. So what if you did a British Bill Clinton? I want to hear that. And I don't want it to be AI. I want somebody that can do both a good British accent and a good Clinton. British Bill Clinton. British Bill Clinton. Oh, I just about tried it. That was going to sound so... Oh my God. I did not. Shit. Well, they sit on your lap and it's nice. Well, they sit on your lap. Nope, that goes Aussie. Sometimes the people around us, you'd never know what's going to happen. They just send these pretty little things. Nope, that's Southern Bill Clinton, which he is Southern. British Bill Clinton is a mystery. And I want that mystery to be revealed to me in a dream. Please, British Bill Clinton, come to me in a dream. Mark Rowan, CEO, Apollo, we'll get to him. AJ Banga, World Bank President. Now that is an envoy for a pedophile elite if I've ever seen one. That is a holy shit. Shot caller is the people that call the shots. A person that follows the shots being called is I don't know, whatever they are. I told you my brain's not fucking working. He's the guy that carries everything out for the World Bank. Oh my goodness. And then Robert Gabriel. His title is Security Advisor. Thank you. Thank you, Robert Gabriel. Thank you for that. Anyway, Mark Rowan, CEO, Apollo. Never heard of Apollo. What the hell? Hey, what is Apollo? It's a global management company. They're investors, money. Right? And he is what is he going to be called? What is he, the chair? He's the CEO of Apollo Global Management, Mark Rowan, right? This dude. Okay, so Apollo, they transfer public stocks to private markets, and they advocate for a shift from traditional public stocks to private. So they want to get off books, which is fantastic. That's good stuff. Anyway, this dude, he's an American, right? An American businessman, except for he's not. And you go, well, that's fine. It doesn't matter what somebody's heritage is, which will remain unnamed. We don't know what the fuck he's been doing, but he works a great deal in youth renewal fund and DARCA schools in a certain country, very tiny, about the size of New Jersey, overseas. There's, how many people? I have ancestors in other countries. I have a heritage. I know people that have heritages in other countries. You know how many of them I know that are helping out in Spain, in France, in Ireland? They're doing all this stuff. They're getting with people that are still in zero. None of them. Yet every single time you notice somebody's heritage from a certain other country, they are actively involved in that other foreign country while being called an American. That's fine though. He's just the CEO of Apollo. Let's look at their people. Oh, co-president, president, partner, last names: Kleinman, Zelter, Drescher, Bellardi. Don't worry. Don't worry, we're America first. These are just people, I'm just giving you the list of the people that Trump put on the executive board. Don't worry, they're America first. And if you go, well, why does America first people need to be involved? Well, first of all, we declared that we were going to run Gaza. That's how the peace board got approved, is because Trump was like, no, I'll just deal. I'm going to do this. And then everybody he appoints, every single one of them has allegiances possibly elsewhere. They just might. There's a distinct possibility. But what did you think was going to happen? I've listened to a lot of podcasts in my day. I've listened to before Trump, during first term, intermediary, the dark times, which were interesting to say the least. I did not enjoy them at all, excuse me. And I was excited when Trump got elected again, because I do remember the first term. And as much media frenzy as there was, as much hullabaloo about nothing, the dumbest he could do, he could wake, they didn't like that he woke up in the morning. He woke up in the morning and they were writing stories about it. As much as that happened, holy crap, I worked a salary job at the time, no overtime. And it was fine. I made plenty in those days. I thought I was going to buy a house. Thank goodness I didn't. Even those prices back, I mean, well, if I got locked in at a low, yeah. No, I probably could have. Not in the area, though. That was a bad area. It was a whole other state that I didn't want to be in. But prices, even there, were reasonable for a salaried employee that was about 50 grand, 52,000 back in 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019. Even there, it was still possible. And then you have the dark times. You have the 4 years of, it was insanity in the sense that people would not acknowledge what everybody could see. They just, when you go, here's something that two people can look at the same time. Now we're going to say what this thing is. And then the thing has a statement on it that says what it is. And then the two people speak at the same time. And one of them just reads off what it says it is and goes, yep, look at it. It looks like what it is. And it's screaming to you as what it is. And then the other person just goes, nope, it's a fully functional human that is president of the United States. And you go, no, it's a dead body. It says dead body. It's got a toe tag on it. It's got a toe tag. And it's not breathing. It's a dead body. And the other person goes, it's a fully functional human adult male who is president of the United States. So that's what that time was like, which is completely insane. And then I got excited because I didn't think Trump was going to win. I thought they were going to just, shove him to the side. He wasn't. It made me think that there was legitimacy in elections again until we got a year in. And now I go, oh, they got to him. And people on the left who hear me talk sometimes, not on here, I don't have any fucking listeners, but in real life, they hear me say these things about my distaste for him. And they go, yeah, see? Would you have been happier if Harris got in? And I go, no, my complaints aren't with that he's a lunatic righty and that I would be happier if a lefty nutbag witch got in. My complaint is that he's too far left. He's gone off the reservation to the he's owned. That's my complaint. Oh, down this one. Hang on. Gotta text somebody back here really quick. I just can't. It's a work thing. So I'm gonna. Okay. Anyway, yeah. My issue with him is that he was starting to sound America first. He was making all these claims. He was And now he didn't claim Epstein. That is when he was running again. People, they don't want to admit this. He was very cagey with that. Very cagey. And he was very open about JFK. He's like, yeah, we'll get JFK done. Why? Because Trump wasn't around. He didn't have anything to do with JFK. Of course he's going to open that up. He knew that the name is at least associated with Epstein, which is, that gets me into another thing. But anyway, we'll finish this one really quick. So my point is, the left, actually, I guess they're not probably lefty. I guess the pedophile elites that run the world would fall. I think it's left on the spectrum, but I think there's another dimension to it that we don't get to participate in. We just have the right and left, obviously. And I think the left would be more aligned with the pedophile elites. But I think they are a different, in a different dimension altogether. So they don't fit our standards of political divide. What? What is this text? Yeah. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. My next point though was, it was brought to me by, I gotta backtrack now. Come on, son of a bitch. Brain, work. Trump got to him. Wasn't involved with JFK, that's why he released him. Had at least a name association with Epstein. That's what it is. Okay, so, and then he was obviously, my bad, hitting the mic. And he was obviously very worried about name association and giving a bad look and all that stuff. That's probably why he was able to be compromised and is doing all this absolute lunacy. I don't mind the Greenland stuff. If he can do that properly, I don't mind that. Expanding off of our borders a little bit, giving ourselves a cushion. I don't mind that. If we can do it peacefully, do it. And they have great minerals, I've heard, in Greenland. I know nothing about minerals. I saw a headline that says, and we can mine things on Greenland. And I go, great. Go get it. I have no idea what's on there. Anyway, my point is, if a politician, I think we should come together as a nation and go, look, you politicians, you're sleazebags, you're scum, you're dirt, you're trash. But if any of you want to be honest with us, we will give you great leeway in your absolute filth and degeneracy. We don't want to know the details about it, but here's what we want. Absolute transparency on lawmaking, who it benefits, where the funding for it, the ideas, and where that comes from, which is usually going to be who it benefits, let's be honest. But absolute transparency there. We're also going to ask that the elected constituents, the elected politicians, the constituents elected, actually follow through on all campaign promises. All of them. If you made a campaign promise, you have to follow through with it. That has to happen. And then a yearly constituent input. And everybody in your voting base, so for senators and congressmen, it's going to be different. But everybody in your voting base gets to aggregate ideas together. And the most popular ones, I don't know how many, you can go 1, you can go 3, are put together, and then they are voted on. And then if they pass with a 51%, then that politician must at least enact it in their constituency. You try to put it up for other things. If other people want to enact them, great. But you at least must, or maybe, because senators are national. So maybe this goes to the state senate and the governor and all that stuff. That's, okay, so we're going to call that statewide. So the statewide constituents get to do that. And then nationwide senators and congressmen, the input from all of them, and then they try to put those forward for the nation. But, obviously you have 50 states and not all of them are going to vote for that. But that's fine. As long as we can go to the state senate and the governor and put forth those, and then the government must enact them. And it's a yearly thing. It's purely off the constituency. The government doesn't draft the ideas. These are pooled together, absent of the government, and then the government is dictated to perform them and enact them into law. That would be a start. And then here's what, I'm not going to give the details, and I'm not going to finalize it, but here's essentially what it looks like. You're a nasty little gambler. You're a gay dude. You cheat a lot on your spouse. Ooh, this one likes to touch kids. You can't go crazy. You get 3 kids every year and a half. And they can't be from this country. You have to go off soil somewhere else. You can't be found doing it. But if it comes out, we're going to go, God damn it. You disgust me. But I know you're a nasty little guy. I know you're a pervy little fucking loser. But you held up your end of the bargain. You enacted everything that the people actually want. The policies are going through. And you're not hiding things in 6,000 page bills. You're not sneaking little things in for people that give you money. You get to be open about your absolute degeneracy. You get to be open that you lost all your money gambling and now you're being backed by the casinos in Vegas. And every single bill that they want you to bring up is going to be labeled as the bills that they want you to bring up, which is probably going to end up with the casinos just killing you, which is a good thing. Think about that. If the casinos, or big pharma, if you will, if you lost all your money and they were going to, well, we can help you get out of debt there. No worries. We just got to slip this little bill into another big one, a little law into another big bill that's going through right now. And you got to vote yes on it. You got to be the one to slip it in. You got to vote yes. And you got to get all your friends to vote yes, and we'll get you out of debt, right? That's how it's going on now. What if that happened and the congressman and the senator stands up and goes, I'm going to add this. This is on behest of Pfizer, and this is what it'll do for Pfizer, right? If that had to be said on national television to slip it into a bill, you're not getting bailed out. They're just going to kill you, whoever you owe the money to. And that's a good thing. Nobody's going to feel bad. They're going, yeah, he was a disgusting little pedophile who got into a bunch of debt, and the people he was in debt to killed him because now they can't hide and slip their little laws into the big bills. So they're just going to off these people. And you go, well, nobody's going to run for... Yeah, they will. Think about who politicians are nowadays anyway. They're egomaniacs. They're people that are drawn to power and get a thrill out of it. So they're thrill chasers. They love being in power, doing slimy, sleazy things and trying to get away with it. That's what they'd still try to do. But they would have incentive because you could go, well, as long as you do what we say, right, you can be this. You can be whatever nasty little degenerate you want to be. As long as you keep doing that. If they stop doing that, obviously, death penalty. So that's in the contract as well. They just get killed. Basically, all of them are going to end up getting killed eventually, but we might get some good laws passed in the meantime. And that, I think, is a plus. And then who knows? The country probably collapses. I haven't thought this out at all. I have no idea where this ends up going. I don't think it would work. I think the economy, I think every other country would see what we're doing and go, oh, I'm going to pull my money out of there really quick until I know what's going on. I don't think that's going to last very long. And then we'd end up in economic decline. Is pedophilia the thing that keeps the world turning? If you distill it down, do you get to pedophilia? Is that it? And is it secret pedophilia? I feel like we had some countries who did the open stuff and they didn't last very long. I think it has to be secret. I think it's a quiet pedophilia that keeps the world turning. It keeps the countries growing and sustaining growth, becoming economic superpowers, because they're always going to strive to get more and more of what they crave, which means you have to work hard, you have to press through, you have to do all these things to become successful and make the country around you successful and gain yourself power. So you can't. So it reduces the risk of you being even associated. You can stamp things out very quickly with the power that you would attain, and then that in turn will give you more leeway to pursue your filthy little desires. But they're never going to achieve it. You never get all what you want. So that's why the drive is still there. They never get fully open and to be unashamed about what they are. So it might be secret pedophilia that keeps the world turning. And in which case that is sad, and it doesn't really matter, because that's where I'm going to leave you. Goodbye.